Movie Holics!
Sometimes you watch a preview, and when you go to click on it, you're expecting that it's going to blow you away. You're going to be really excited by the end of it. You're going to want to go see the film. It just really knocks your socks off. But then you watch it, and it just kind of fails. A movie, for example, that did that to me was Age of Ultron. Now, on the flip side of that, there's occasionally that preview that you click on, and you're like,
there's absolutely nothing that this preview can do for me to make me want to go see it.
and then you watch it, and you're left going,
Holy shit, oh my god, that was fucking amazing. I cannot believe that I just witnessed that. Holy crap, I live in a great time for movies and superheroes, and it's amazing, and I want to see it so bad.
that was this trailer for me.
Trailer trash.
So it is no secret to anybody that I think Captain America is a big joke and a waste of time. It doesn't matter how many times you attack me in the comments section below, but I just don't think he's a very good superhero for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That being said, this trailer kicked my ass. Royally. And I gotta say, I'm actually excited to see a Marvel film for the first time in a very long time. Like Iron Man 3 long time. With that said, let's jump right in and not waste any more time. The trailer opens up, and we see the Cap walking up on his friend Bucky Barnes. Barnes is restrained by some weird vice clamp or something, and they have a conversation about how they used to know each other.
Do you remember me?
Your mom's name was Sarah. You used to wear newspapers in your shoes.
The Cap used to be a nerd.
You're a wanted man.
I don't do that anymore.
So most of you know that Bucky once was a sort of terrorist of sorts from the last film, and he was being mind controlled and all that good jazz, but now the government, they want him dead.
Well, the people who think you did are coming right now. And they're not planning on taking you alive.
And so the conflict was born. So for those of you who have read the original Civil War comic, feel free to correct me. I am no master of comics and have never claimed to be. But I feel like this is kind of different from the original comic. If I remember correctly, the big thing in the original comic was that the government wants all superheroes to be registered as superheroes, essentially. And Bucky Barnes really didn't have a whole lot to do with that. In this one, on the other hand, it seems like, yeah, the registration thing exists, but it's really more focused on the friendship between Cap and Bucky. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the way I'm seeing it. I've never read the comics, so let me know. Here's the thing though, if it is gonna be that it's more motivated by the friendship between Cap and Bucky rather than the registration thing, I'm not saying the registration thing is bad, I'm just saying if it is more so that it's focused on the friendship, I think that's really cool, and I think it's far more likely to cause a civil war than this registration program.
Captain, while a great many people see you as a hero,
So we get the traditional flash of action sequences with some voiceover dialogue that we've come to know and love with every single Marvel trailer. And William Hurt explains that he looks at the Cap as a vigilante and not a hero.
you've operated with unlimited power and no supervision.
Now, right through here, we get that sense of what I was talking about earlier, where it seems as though William Hurt is trying to start this registration program, but it doesn't seem like the registration program is the giant focus. It seems to me, based on this preview, that the main focus is that friendship between Bucky and the Cap.
That's something the world can no longer tolerate.
Interesting note here, take a look at what this book says. Sokovia Accords Framework for the Registration and Deployment of Enhanced Individuals. So yeah, the program exists. It is something that is being launched in this film that, people are going to be on different sides of. But at the end of the day, the government wants Bucky because he was a terrorist. At least, again, that's the way this preview comes off. And it seems to me that the Cap's motivating factor is to keep Bucky safe. And I think the friendship aspect is really cool of it.
I know how much Bucky means to you. Stay out of this one.
That's a nice little warning from Black Widow. It seems as though maybe she's going to try to play the devil's advocate of this whole movie, which, if I remember correctly, and again, Comic book fans, let me know. I think that was Spider-Man's role in the original comic. What, if any, role Spider-Man will end up having in this is anybody's guess, I think.
There will be consequences.
So the Cap gets surrounded and probably beats the crap out of everyone. But then he gets confronted by Iron Man. Now, the one thing that I'm not very clear on based on this trailer is why Iron Man specifically decides he wants to involve himself in this. They don't really say, there are a couple lines, but that's about it. And it doesn't really say why he's against Cap on this. But I'm sure it plays into his questions from the last few films where he's thinking about the world's safety and so on and so forth. I mean, after all, Ultron only existed because he wanted to try to essentially replace superheroes as the defining force that defended Earth. He was wanting Ultron to come in and be the sentient being that protected everything. So I'm sure that his next step is to say the only reason that the Earth keeps getting in peril in the first place is the fact that the superheroes exist. So, who knows?
Captain, you seem a little defensive. Well, it's been a long day. If we can't accept limitations, we're no better than bad guys.
This is the only little piece of motivation that we kind of hear from Stark in this entire preview. He says, if we can't accept limitations, then we're no better than the bad guy. Now, what I'm curious about is how they are going to explain why his motivations changed from Iron Man 1 and 2 and 3, where he didn't want to give away his suit to the government for protection, but now he's wanting to join the government to hinder other superheroes. I mean, my only guess is that he's like an egomaniac who wants to be at the top of the food chain. So we see Bucky and Cap team up, and then we hear Stark with his least funny quip yet.
Sometimes I want to punch you in your perfect teeth.
We see a few shots that try to make Falcon relevant.
I just want to make sure we consider all our options. Because people that shoot at you usually wind up shooting at me too.
A few nondescript action shots.
You know what's about to happen. Do you really want to punch your way out of this?
A few more nondescript action shots. Our first shot of Black Panther.
What do we do?
We fight.
Now, if I had a bitch with anything that's in this trailer, it is in this one single solitary shot. Let's take a look. I mean, just look at it. If this wasn't shot in a studio on a giant green screen, I'll eat my foot. Just look at how smooth the concrete is. There's no texture or anything. The shadows look weird. I mean, it just looks bad. That being said, I will forgive it because this is a preview, and typically they'll release previews without being fully mastered and all that stuff. So it'll probably look better once we see it in the theater, but God, it looks bad right now. Black Panther messes Bucky up. So apparently something takes place in the jungle at some point. Cap runs 70 miles an hour after Black Panther. Shots like this kind of piss me off too. I mean, I'm already accepting the fact that our heroes are super, right? But do I really need to accept the fact that the architecture is also super? Then we see Bucky try to yank out Iron Man's core, and based on this shot and how angry he looks, I'm gonna say that the Cap is at least thought to be dead by this point in the film, and that's why Bucky looks so angry. Call me crazy, it's just the way I see it. Okay, so this last sequence of shots is really what does it for me in this preview. We see a few really cool shots, which I will discuss, but then we hear this awesome dialogue.
Sorry, Tony. You know I wouldn't do this if I had any other choice.
We hear the Cap say, "I'm sorry, Tony. You know I wouldn't do this if I had any other choice." On top of that dialogue, we see this shot of a fallen War Machine. Now, I personally think that this is smoke and mirrors. I don't think that they'd waste a character death in a preview, but it's intriguing nonetheless. Then we see the Cap say, "But he's my friend."
But he's my friend.
And then we see the shot to end all shots and all previews, in my opinion. We see Tony Stark say,
So was I.
and I mean, that is so awesome, man. It is so cool to see. It's so tragic to see, like, that camaraderie that got lost, you know? They were friends, and that's truly what Civil War is. It's the loss of friends and the loss of brothers a lot of times. And this is a side of Marvel that we've never seen before. It shows depths and layers that they've never done. And I swear to God, if they end this movie with a handshake or a hug, I'm going to never, ever, ever watch another freaking Marvel film as long as I live. And then we see Iron Man getting the shit beat out of him. And I don't understand how you could not be totally into this unless you absolutely 100% cannot stand, absolutely hate and despise, and would rather sell your firstborn child to the black market than watch a superhero movie. Because it's that good. So, takeaways. This movie is going to be much darker in tone than the last few, if not all of the Marvel Studios films, and I like it. This movie will not feature, at least as far as we know based on this preview, some epic godlike bad guy that really takes away from the whole story in the first place. This is going to be homegrown, nitty-gritty between two of our heroes, and I like it. There are a few characters we didn't see that we would expect to, people that we know have been signed onto the film. For example, we didn't see Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk. He's signed onto the film in some way, shape, or form, so he's in it at least as Bruce Banner. We also didn't see Vision, which we just ended the last film knowing that he was a part of the Avengers, so where's he at? We didn't see Spider-Man, not that he was, I don't think he's ever actually been confirmed for this movie, but he got signed on enough time to be in it, at least as an appearance, so we didn't see him. Hopefully we get him at some point in the film. We didn't see Thor at all, WTF. Lastly, and the only thing that I personally fear about this film is that some producer, some corporate exec at Disney and Marvel will decide to take some of the darker moments of the film and try to lighten them up because that they want to like please the kids and everything, and they'll sacrifice story for that. And that's the one thing that I'm kind of scared about. Other than that, guys, I'd go see this in the theater. Like as soon as it comes out, I'd go see it. It looks that good to me. And I've been superhero fatigued for quite some time. So you should definitely, I think, go see this. Based on this trailer and this trailer alone, I think it's going to be worth it. But what I think doesn't matter, guys. What do you think? If you go see this, are you going to go likely? All right, that doesn't even make sense. Are you likely to go see it in the theater? Or are you going to wait for DVD or Netflix or TV? Are you never going to watch it? Are you just not into superhero films? Make sure to let me know in the comments section below. And as always, hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and SoundCloud. Roll over to movieholics.net and leave us a comment there. And I will catch you guys on the flip side. I love you all dearly. Deuces.
Trailer trash.